Look, these are very, very unprecedented and trying times for many of you, for many of us. Our entire community is affected by COVID-19 and the response that's being undertaken. You know, we've all done a lot of work in the last week to try and address some of the immediate needs of our community, like, direct payments, EI support, dealing with small business. I don't think we're the entire way there yet, but I just want to let you know that that is my top priority. That is what myself and my team are doing round the clock right now. We are listening to concerns from the community, trying to do as much casework and response to people who are writing into our office as possible. I want to, though, just take a minute and talk about something that I don't think is necessarily in the public consciousness yet, because we've all been so focused on dealing with the immediate issue of the response to COVID. And that's, where do we go from here, right? What's next? How do we get through this period? And I think that that's really important to talk about, and not just talk about, but start talking about concrete solutions on how we address that particular question. And beyond the public health concerns, we have to really talk about the economic concerns that this is precipitating as well, right? A year-long entire lockdown of our economy has, that's just something that we can't put on the table or be talking about. And I'm not saying that anyone is, but we have to start saying, how do we deploy our economy? How do we retool it? How do we look at new solutions such that we can get through this and still have an economy on the other side? And, while it might not be top of mind, it might seem really callous to say this, but there's people, many of you who are watching this, who are saying, when can I see my friends again? When can I have some hope that some of the things that I enjoyed prior to this, and of course, economic concerns and health concerns are so important, they're top of mind, but there has to be some hope, right? So in addition to spending a lot of time this week dealing with the immediate needs of the community, I've also put together some concrete ideas and solutions on how we move forward. And I've done this in consultation with thought leaders from around the world, colleagues that I've met during my time in Parliament from jurisdictions that are actually doing a good job in this regard. So, for example, if you look at South Korea, right, they have deployed a high level of rapid testing for a big part of their population, and they've been able to undertake very targeted and narrow isolation measures so that they can redeploy other parts of their economy to meeting this crisis, and so that people can get back to work. So I just want you to, going into the weekend, help me by having a read through this document. There's ideas in there you might like, there's ideas that you might not like, but we have to start talking about what the next steps are, because we have to have some hope for our community. And the other thing that I'll say is this, while immediate direct support measures are very important for businesses and for individuals, so that we can make sure that we're making ends meet in the immediate short term. Look, I'm just going to say it. These are very costly measures. They cost a lot. They're going to have an enormous impact on our economy and our society for some time to come. They're unprecedented measures. And we have to start looking at solutions that will get people back to work while dealing with the public health crisis that we're at. And we also have to recognize that the traditional tools that we would deal with a recession, like certain types of monetary policy or stimulus spending, that's not really working right now, because the situation that we find ourselves in isn't the same at all as the 2008 financial crisis. The catalyst and the response, they're not the same. So please, I've included the link to this document, and it's a long read. It's got a lot of policy solutions in it. It's at the top of this video. I ask you to help me do my job, to read through it, to share it, so that we can start a conversation in Canada about how we're moving forward. And I think that has to happen in a very, very short period of time, like immediately. And this is not a slag on the government. all of us across political stripe have been, dealing with an unprecedented situation, but we have to, while we're dealing with the immediate needs, we also have to be planning for the medium term. So have a read through it. I'm not going to read it all to you here. And for those of you who would say, Michelle, this is a nothing burger, it's going to pass. Okay, you're wrong. The reality is that this crisis has had an enormous impact on our country already, both not just in terms of health, but in terms of the economic impact that it's created. So please, disabuse yourself of any notion that that is the case, because you're wrong. So even if that is your school of thought, the reality is that this has had an impact. And we have to ask ourselves, how did we let ourselves get into this situation where we were unprepared for this response so that it doesn't happen again? Because if you're a small business owner, if you're out of work right now, or if you have a loved one who's been affected by the virus, we shouldn't be repeating mistakes of the past. So these solutions that I'm talking about, they're not just about getting through or managing through. It's about how do we change things fundamentally so that we don't find ourselves in this position again, especially since we had warnings. We had SARS, we had Ebola. We knew that, and many experts around the world were talking about pandemics being a problem. So read the document that I've prepared, please. I need you to read this. I need you to comment on it. I need you to send comments to me so that as public policy makers across the political spectrum, we can start talking about hope and how we get through this with some clarity in a defined period of time. Again, I'll just reemphasize this for my constituents. What my staff and I are doing is anytime that there's an announcement from the government, even if the stuff isn't on the government website right away, we're trying to synthesize those announcements, all of that economic news, all of the other news that you frequently ask questions that you're looking for. That is now on my website. We're updating the website almost minute by minute, mprempel.ca. There's a link there on all of your COVID frequently asked questions. And to my constituents, do not hesitate to contact my office. As always, we are working through your requests as quickly as we possibly can. And we're trying to make sure that we are helping you, be it with EI claims, or we've had many questions about travel-related repatriation, immigration concerns, all of this sort of stuff. That is what I'm here for, and that my team is very glad to help. Please share this video. Please read that document so that we can start talking about some hope and how we move forward. Working hard for you. Have a great day.